Hi, Virgo. I'm Denise with Divine Soul Astrology, and today I'm here to discuss the nodes, the lunar nodes of the moon being squared by Uranus. Now, it's an astrological event, it really is, because the North Node represents our soul's mission. So, yeah, it's a very awesome thing. It is. We have a lot of change this year, right? And the square with our astrology, and the square is creating a little bit of uncomfortability, if you will. The square wants us to adjust something or change something, and so that's what it is doing. And right now, Uranus is in Gemini, right? We're going to go over to the wheel in just a moment. And Gemini is ruled by Mercury, your planet, right? So you're going to be feeling this. And actually, as Uranus has moved into Mercury ruled Gemini, you've probably already been feeling the change anyway. So what Uranus wants is change. Uranus wants innovation. Uranus will disrupt. It will destabilize us, but really what it wants is progress, innovation, and growth. And that's what it wants. And so it wants to remove old, outdated structures, old, outdated beliefs, all these things that kind of hinder us, right? And the South Node is a little associated with that. The South Node is in your first house, and we're going to look at that right now. And the North Node is also associated with not only your soul's mission, but fate and destiny, your higher purpose, things like that. Excuse me. We're all moving toward the North Node. I call it the North Star. Um, Subconsciously or unconsciously. That's just how it works, right? People who are a little bit more spiritually kind of awakened, so to speak, yeah, or have a higher consciousness, they know that, right? They already know this. Now, Uranus is in your 10th house of career. This is also your house of, that's where Gemini is, right? This is also your house of social roles and how you show yourself to the world, your reputation, your social role, your social status, right? Can be married or divorced or, there's a lot of different kind of ways, but it is also associated with the authority that you wield over your own life, right? The personal agency, that's where Uranus is sitting. So things could be really changing for you. The South Node is in your first house of self, and the North Node is where we're going. Your soul's mission is in your seventh house of partnerships. So let's go have a look at that and give me a minute to kind of, share the screen. Here we are. Okay. So I've already put you on the ascendant. Here you are. And I have the date up here, June 12th, and, instead of the actual transit name, because I wanted to put you here and the software is not letting me do both. Yeah, not that I'm yet aware of, right? Now, this is when the south node is, or the nodes rather, are making the perfect square, meaning they're all at the same degree, right? They're all at 2 degrees. So here we have Uranus at 2, the south node at 2, and then we have the north node at 2. And 2 times 3 is 6. There's a major recognition in numerology. That's what that means. There's a major recognition for all of us with the square. There sure is. The square is going to be there until October, around the middle of October. We're feeling it now, and I'm doing this recording on May 15th, right? The day before the Taurus new moon. And I already have that video up if you would like to see that. Yeah. Um, and so let's talk now a little bit about Uranus. Uranus is right here in your 10th house at 2 degrees, making the square to your south node, to the south node in your sign. And so Uranus is saying, I need you to step away from things. It's in your first house of self. This is a major change for you, Virgo, or you're going to feel compelled to change, to go with the flow here. And the North Node is in a very flowy sign. Yeah, it is. It sounds silly, flowy, right? But it is. It's in Pisces, and that is your opposite sign. Now, your opposite sign always has something to do with you. It's always trying to show us something because it's on the other side of the axis, creating an opposition, and the opposition is always asking us to make an adjustment, a little bit like a square. All right. So here we have South Node in your first house of self, And this is you're supposed to be there's like a newer you, Virgo. You're feeling something new, and it has to do with your role or how you show yourself to the world. Right? This is in your 10th house, Uranus. Maybe, I mean, for some of you, you could be changing your social status big time, right? And that can mean a lot of things. It can mean you're getting married or you're retiring. It can mean you are entering into new social groups with a lot of money, or, it just, there's a big thing there, kind of a big umbrella there, but it can be how you show yourself to the world and how people classify you. Oh, so-and-so's changed, or so-and-so this and that about Virgo, right? Um, yeah, Virgo's single now, or now Virgo's a professor over there at the college. Wow. And before Virgo was, I don't know, a tech or, or something like that, right? Or, an admin, right, in an office. Just a big social change, kind of like that. All right. So we have that there. And the 10th house, Uranus is also in the house of the father. Yeah. So, but here, the square to the north node, and these are in your first and your seventh house of partnerships where the north node is. Your attitude about partnerships, romantic or business, could be big time changing. Yeah, you could really be, your perspective could be much different. Maybe you are going toward, it could also be where you are moving toward relationships that, this is ruled by Jupiter, that are maybe more meaningful. Jupiter rules, expansion and growth and what is meaningful for us. So maybe you are moving toward relationships or even business partnerships that are more meaningful, or where you feel like you can grow and expand. Okay, that could be the case. Now, the North Node in Pisces is asking you to trust your intuition. It's asking you to have more self-compassion because the opposition is to your house of yourself. Have more compassion and go with the flow, and, let go of things here that might be rigid, because Virgo, like every sign has these beautiful things. It also has kind of the, negative or limiting is a better way. Some astrologers will say, I don't know, destructive, right? But, that's fine. But my point is, there's something limiting over here that you realize or you're feeling about yourself that you are letting go, and it could be your perspective on relationships, right? It can also be that you are just kind of learning to go with the flow more. This can be also the seventh house is not only, it's also the house of how you create harmony in your life and, well-being and balance, right? So maybe you are doing that by kind of learning to be kind of your best self and let go of these things that are kind of limiting you. um, yeah, they could definitely be, right? We also have the trine to Chiron at the same time, from the North Node. And so, what that means here is that there's something healing about you in your eighth house of transformation. You're changing big time. So, or you're letting the Chiron is not only a healing, sometimes it can be a wound, right? It's in the sign of the self, coming from your sign of the self, right? But Chiron can be a vulnerability or a sensitivity, but that can be hindering, or we carry it around, or when we get to a certain situation that comes up, we don't always, it comes up as an insecurity, but we don't kind of all the time know what that is, right? And it takes time to understand that. I mean, maybe, the wise 20-year-old or 18-year-old can understand that. I was on the phone last night with somebody wise, but, she was 25, or on a Zoom rather. A very wise client, yes. So here we have, the south node, the north node is in this Jupiter, ruled sign. And Jupiter is, ruling Sagittarius, your fourth house of emotional foundation. Whatever you're doing here is about your well-being. It does look like that, definitely. I mean, that's really kind of what the north and the south nodes, it wants you to, make a balance in your life and reach your higher potential. It's really kind of what it is, your soul's mission. And Jupiter's in your 11th house of expansion and growth. So there you go, right? It is also with Mercury. Mercury's in your ruler and the ruler of the South Node, at this time, right? And the ruler of, Uranus. Mercury is ruling all these, right? Now, Mercury, I might have mentioned this, but Mercury is is here as well in your 11th house, thinking about the future, right? Plans and goals, or a different perspective about the future for sure. And we have Venus too. Venus is there. Why am I talking about Venus? Because it's there with Jupiter, the ruler of the North node, and Mercury, the ruler of the South. And so Venus is there with it. And Venus is a benefic, as is Jupiter. So you have two benefics in your house of the future. Really looking good. It sure is. Your own sign is in your house of the future. And Venus is ruling yeah, Venus is ruling where's Venus at? Your ninth house of expansion and growth. You see, there's a theme here. It's also ruling your second house of values and self-worth. So there is definitely a theme here, but this square is asking you to trust your intuition and kind of let go. Pisces wants to let go and just, let go to the universe. Pisces is about a higher purpose or God, a higher power, rather, not so much a higher purpose. They're a little different, right? But a higher power. Pisces can be about God, right? It is about the spirituality, and Sagittarius can be about religion and God. And, that is also ruling your fourth house. So there's something really good here for you. It might not feel comfortable, though, Virgo. It might not. And the interesting thing about the nodal change, they change every 18 months, and, um, they have to do with the eclipses. But you might have been feeling this for a while, is my whole point, right? We're already feeling the square, but it will perfect on June 12th and take us all the way into October. All right. So thank you so much, Virgo, for joining me here. If you've liked my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell. You'll be notified of my next upload. If you want a reading with me, my readings are great, because I always approach the chart from a place of empowerment, right? Yeah, and growth and expansion. I'm a Sagittarius, so it makes all the sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, right? Hit that little bell. You'll be notified of my next upload. My website is below in the description box. Thanks so much for joining me here, and take care.